bro missed leg day, so.
Okay.
All right.
You tell me, what are we actually talking about?
So our topic for the day is going to be Aimo Koivunen.
Huh?
Exactly. And also I did watch like 6 YouTube videos just to figure out how to say that. And so that seems to, it's a guy's name.
Okay.
He's from Finland. And
Okay.
that seems to be the general consensus on how to say his name, but I am not Finnish, and I don't think any of the people I watched are Finnish. So if I'm wrong and you do know how to say that, please let me know, because the linguist in me wants to know.
Yeah.
Also, just a little side note, and you guys have heard me rant about this before, but my new life goal is to find someone to financially sponsor me so that I can go through all of the Wikipedia pages that are in English and add phonetic transcriptions to foreign words and names, because
she'll do it.
Again, I will do it. It is like my biggest pet peeve is to sit here, and I had it when I did like the Yule Boys too. I was like, I just want to know how to say these words. Like, I don't have to know what they mean. I want to know how to say these people's names. Like,
Yeah.
just let me go through and research and then put phonetic transcriptions on Wikipedia. That's all I want. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you spell this person's name?
Aimo is Aimo, and then
God,
his
I'm so
last
wrong.
name is Koivunen.
Okay. Just wanna
Aimo
look at a picture of him.
Koivunen.
All right. Cool.
My sources.
I know this guy.
I bet
I don't
you
know
do.
him personally. I mean, I know of him
Yeah, I bet you do.
because of his
But-
crazy eyes.
Yes. My sources are Wikipedia. I did 3 different Wikipedia
Oh.
pages.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I know who this is too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
figured it was not like a super unknown one.
This is on Tumblr
Because
a lot.
it's it's like an internet meme
Yeah.
story, but I like actually looked it up. But the main picture of him is he's got the eyes that have seen some things.
Yeah.
As in like 30 days without sleep.
Right. But yeah, I used 3 different Wikipedia pages. I used the one for Koivunen, and then 2 on the war that he was part of. There's the Winter War and then the Continuation War. And then I used War History Online, and then there's a website, which I don't know if the website is called Exploring History or Medium, because the link is medium.com, but then the header said Exploring History, so I don't know, but it's there. And then a bunch of YouTube videos just to figure out how to say the dude's name. I didn't actually watch the rest of the videos, but if anyone wants the links to them, I have them.
Okay.
But anyway, okay, so Aimo Koivunen was a Finnish soldier. He was born in October of 1917. And that's literally all the background I'm giving on him, because it does not matter.
Yeah.
But I am going to give some background on the war that he was part of, because it is technically 2 wars, the Winter War and the Continuation War. And they were both between the Soviet Union and Finland.
I could tell you a lot about that because I just read about it yesterday. But I do want to say one really quick thing.
Yes.
All of the Soviets who fought in the Winter War, who came back, if they were captured, they were immediately sent to gulags and not ever let out.
Nice.
Because that's just how the Soviets worked. They were like, well, you talked to the enemy, goodbye.
You survived, but bye.
But
Go build us a road in Siberia.
pretty much.
Yep. So the Winter War was first. It started in November of 1939. Basically, the USSR wanted some of Finland's territory. I really need to be more professional in the way I write my notes, but because I wrote the USSR wanted some of Finland's land, and the Finns were like, nah, bro. So the Soviets were like, okay, then we'll take it by force because that's what we do. So,
I mean,
but
that
anyway.
was how, like, I presented my papers when I had to in undergrad. It's fine.
It's how I write my notes because it's how my brain works.
It's
but
more
yeah,
accessible.
basically,
It's fine. You know?
yeah, basically the Soviet Union wanted some of Finland's land. Apparently, like way back in the day, it had belonged to the Soviet Union or Russia or whatever country they were at the time. And the USSR was like, we want it back. And Finland was like, no, you cannot have it back. And so the Soviet Union was like, well, then suck it. We're invading. Yeah. And then also keep in mind, like, World War II was going on in the background of this, but, you know, Russia's just like, war. Let's do a war.
We're gonna do a war. We're gonna call it the Great Patriotic War.
Yep.
Just kidding, that was World War II.
But then the Soviets had the advantage in numbers and military tactics, but they still suffered severe losses because the Finnish people were, like, real stubborn, apparently. Eventually, the Soviets did defeat the Finnish forces, and hostilities ended in 1940 with the signing of the Moscow Peace Treaty. Yeah. So with that, like, peace treaty, I guess, Finland ended up giving 11% of their territory to the USSR. Obviously, they did not like that. So, 15 months later, they started the Continuation War, which was between the Soviet Union and Finland, but Finland this time decided to ally with Nazi Germany.
Cool.
Yep. And Germany essentially helped Finland because they considered it part of their overall war efforts on the Eastern Front, and they provided the Finns with material support, military assistance, and economic aid. This war lasted from 1941 to 1944, and basically it was just part of World War II at that point, but specifically it was a conflict between these countries. And Finland justified their allyship with Nazi Germany at the time by claiming self-defense. And in my notes I put, sure, Jan. So.
Yeah.
And then, God, okay. So I don't really care about the specifics of the war itself, and, like, if you want to read up on World War II, go ahead. If you want to read up on the Continuation War, go ahead. Basically, the results of this war is that in 1944, there was a ceasefire and they signed the Moscow Armistice. And a condition of this was that all German soldiers within Finland had to either leave or be disarmed. And obviously, Germany did not like that. And so this started another war between Finland and Germany. But that's its own thing. We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
Basically, everything officially ended at the end of World War II and the signing of the Paris Peace Treaties in 1947. So, Finland ended up having to give up all of the land that they had originally lost during the Winter War because they had, like, their forces had essentially taken it back, but with the peace treaties, they had to give all of that back to the USSR, and then they had to pay, I think it was like $300 million in war reparations to Russia.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then they were also required to accept partial responsibility for the war and acknowledge that they had been a German ally.
Okay.
Basically, everyone was like, oh, we're not buying that self-defense nonsense. Like, you chose this.
Yeah.
So, that's all we really need to know about those wars for this purpose. Aimo Koivunen was a soldier during the Continuation War. He was from Finland, and he was assigned to a ski patrol in 1944. So, on one of their missions, 3 days into their mission, his patrol was surrounded and attacked by Soviet forces. they managed to escape, but they were on the run for quite some time and were super tired and running out of steam.
Do you know how they found the ski forces, though? Like, a lot of the times?
No.
They would put someone in a plane and they would just follow the ski trails.
I mean, that makes sense.
They just blow you up because
like,
there's
you
a
can't
clearly
hide
marked
ski
trail
trails.
where you just were.
Oh, God.
Anyway, just so you know.
I mean, fair. But yeah, also, they were doing all of this on skis because they're a ski patrol, and it's like negative 50 degrees or whatever it is in Russia in winter. And so it wasn't ideal conditions being chased down by Russian soldiers, I guess, in the snow. I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Also, if you're not used to cross-country skiing, which I know they were, obviously, but if you're not used to it, it's hard. It's very difficult. Okay, anyway. So Koivunen, he started to fall behind as, like, his comrades were, like, they were all running away, essentially.
I wouldn't call them his comrades because that's the other side.
Yeah, it's just the word I wrote in my notes, but yeah, his patrol, okay? His mates, his buds.
Bros.
The bros. Basically, he was not up to par with their physical capabilities, and he started falling behind, and he was real tired.
He didn't even lift.
So, what?
He didn't even lift.
Yup.
Bruh.
Bro missed leg day, so, you know. So, when he started to fall behind, he decided to take a Pervitin in order to stay awake and get a boost of energy. Pervitin was a drug that was supplied to German and Finnish soldiers during the war in order to help keep them awake during basically tiring tasks like guard duty, long patrols, when you're running away from the Russians. Mm-hmm. It keeps you awake. Essentially, it was just an early form of
meth.
amphetamine. I cannot say that word.
It's a stimulant.
Yes, it's a stimulant. It's an upper. It was an early form of meth. Okay,
yes.
Let's be real.
Make you go fast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's speed. It's ecstasy. It's meth. It's all the things. But, so Koivunen had been tasked with carrying his entire unit's supply of the drug, but in his hurry to like get one and take one while he's tired, being chased down, all of that, he had trouble getting out just one single pill. And I mean, he's probably wearing like giant gloves and he's on skis and it's the middle of the night and all this stuff. So like he's having trouble getting out one pill. So he gets frustrated and he decides to just down the entire container.
Oh, bud.
So he ended up taking... he took 30 of the pills.
Good Lord.
The recommended dosage was 1 per day. He took all 30 of them at once without water.
How did he not have a heart attack?
Yeah, honestly,
like,
everything I read, they were like, it's
steel.
a straight up miracle he didn't die immediately.
Yeah.
Because, no. But yeah, so after taking the pills, he had a short burst of energy where he went into a state of delirium, but eventually his body gave out and he collapsed. So.
Because his heart was probably like...
His heart was probably like 300
sound.
beats per minute, but his body, because he's tired out and everything, his body's like, we're just gonna pass out now.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Oh my god.
We're just gonna restart.
I can't even have a small coffee without getting dizzy because of my meds.
Literally,
like, I cannot imagine.
I had one Dr. Pepper yesterday, one can of Dr. Pepper, and it took me like 3 hours to drink it, and by the end of the day, I was like having heart palpitations, and I was like, what is wrong with me?
Okay, you know what? Maybe you two wimps couldn't do it, but maybe I could, because I don't have
That's
coffee.
true.
That's true.
I was just talking to my friends about this morning. If I don't have coffee, it really feels like there's a rock behind my eye, and I get such a debilitating headache where I'm like, I guess I'll just kill myself.
Yeah, because you're going through withdrawal.
It'll be better than this.
Yeah.
You're going through caffeine.
See, I don't ever have caffeine, really.
Maybe
like,
I'll be good at meth.
That's not something to, like, promote, Hannah. But, you know.
Okay, well, last time it was you two and Valiant.
That's
so
true. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
that's true.
I just like uppers, and you just like downers. Don't know what to tell you.
I'm on an
You
upper.
know-
That's why I can't take uppers. I can't take more uppers. I'm already on one.
I'm on 3, so, like, I can't take any more.
Okay, whatever.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so he collapsed.
Yes.
When he came to, the rest of his unit was gone. Probably, this is just me speculating because no one really says why they left. But I'm assuming it's because they thought he was either dead or dying, and they're in the middle of a war and they're being chased down. So, like, sucks to suck.
I'm sorry.
He
Bye.
had crazy eyes anyway, so... Wait, do you
Right.
think he had those crazy eyes before or after this?
You know,
Let me.
part of me wants to believe he had them before.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay,
Like,
look at this picture, though.
but,
Hold
like,
on.
this dude, like, who is like, I'm gonna take 30 of these things that I'm only supposed to take 1 of. Because, like, even if you can't get 1 out and you tip the container, like, you can still differentiate, like, 1 or 2 pills.
Yeah.
This is him in his uniform, so this must have been pre...
It was
War,
probably
'cause-
before.
The most
Because he
that
seems
one
to have lost weight in that second picture.
that one picture, that's on Wikipedia was taken between 1930 and 1950. They don't know exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay,
So-
well, that's real helpful.
I know.
Yeah, that's what
I just looked.
the most helpful.
Real quick, I have a question. You may have already
Yeah.
said this, and I'm so sorry if I missed it. Why did he take these?
Basically, just because he was tired and falling behind his unit,
Shannon,
and he
skipped a
didn't
leg
want to
day.
get caught. So he was going to take 1 just to give himself the boost of energy to, like, catch up with his unit.
And he
But-
just decided to take.
Yeah,
All of
he
them?
got frustrated. From all that I couldn't find, he just got frustrated that he couldn't get 1 pill out of the container, and so he just dumped the whole container in his mouth.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you just
Which,
spit some
again,
of them
like I
back?
said, you can, like, tip a container and still just
Yeah.
get, like, 1 or 2 pills.
Just okay. What? Okay. Thank you. That's all I needed. I'm not even gonna.
Look, dude was crazy.
Clearly.
I don't know if it was
How-
the fear. I don't know if it was panic. I don't know if he was just, like, mind-numbingly cold and was like, yeah, this'll work. But
You know how when you just want 1 ibuprofen, but then you just pour the whole thing in your mouth because you're like, what the hell? It'll be fine.
look, the most I've taken at once was 6, and I do not recommend.
Holy shit, Shelby.
I take.
How has your liver not just fallen out of you?
Okay, there's a reason I moved back home, friends. And that reason was medical. Do not self-medicate, okay? Do not condone that behavior. Alrighty. Definitely that happened while we were in Palm Springs when Shannon was there with me.
I know.
Yeah.
I
there
still don't know
there
any of
lots
these stories.
medication going on.
I'm so in the dark. I don't know
It was
anything.
a good time.
I'm gonna have to take you to the emergency room at some point when you live with me, aren't I?
No.
I
have
know,
never
you're
once
right.
been
No,
to the
but
emergency
Shelby will be
room,
taking you,
except for
Shannon, because that
maybe when I
happened
broke my
many
arm.
times.
Yeah, that's true. I'm usually the one who has to get taken to the ER.
And then it was always when we were in the same class together, so it looked really suspicious. Because
Yeah.
I would email the teacher and be like,
Yeah.
so Shannon died last night.
Yeah, it
and
happened
I had
twice.
To take her to the emergency room.
It's like,
So
I think Shannon
I'm not
had a
coming
heart
to
attack.
Charlotte Bronte class.
Yeah. What was the one time? It was because we thought my heart was exploding. What was the other time?
It was your rib thing.
Was it
and
my
you were
rib
like,
thing both times?
Yeah.
I
I don't think so. What was the other time? I don't remember what the other time was. One
one time
Was
it was
it
just
your
heart
asthma?
palpitations. And then the other time it was your rib thing, and we had to go to the one, we had to go to, I don't know, was it Mercy? Whatever one's on the main road there,
Uh-huh.
and the fucking fire alarm was going off over there. And I was trying to read a book, and the
Yeah.
fire alarm's going off, and some guy was in a wheelchair, and he was so drugged out of his mind because both of his legs were broken, and he kept saying to his wife or girlfriend or whatever, he's like, just, you know what, I'm just gonna walk out of here,
I remember
gotta go.
that.
And she was like, stop it.
Hun, you can't walk.
Oh, and then some man came in with his head covered in blood, and I was like, why am I here?
Yeah. Yeah, I know,
I need to read this book by tomorrow.
One of the time was because of my weird chest thing.
Yes, that was the time we went to Cox.
Yeah. I don't remember the other time.
And the other time we went to Mercy.
Did we
or
take
whatever
me
it's called.
both times? Because we had to take other people to the ER a couple times, too.
I feel like it was you both times, because one time I was just in the...
I know
waiting
she
room with
took you
Michael.
twice.
Okay. I don't remember why the second time.
I don't remember other details because I was not
You may
there.
have
But
taken
I
me
do
once.
remember her taking you twice.
Yeah. What the hell was the second one for? Who knows? Let's move on.
I can't
But I know
help
that
it.
was
knows?
the fire alarm one, and I was
Yeah.
like, why am I here?
I
And
do
there were
not
just,
remember.
Like, screaming children, and...
I do not remember what the second one was. That's okay. I go to the emergency room a lot anyway. Let's move on.
Yes. I've never
Shannon's a
been.
mess. Moving on.
Anyway, basically, Shannon and I might be moving in together. Well, are moving in together.
Yeah.
And not for like a year, but still.
Well, 6 months.
And-
It's only January.
Oh, I don't know time.
But you
time
know,
is
how
made
time
up.
works now in COVID is... It feels
Look,
like
it could
years.
be 5 years. It could be 2 weeks. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, it's been like 6 months, bud.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a bad idea because we're both gonna die. So.
Yeah.
But we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Where was I?
I...
He passed out.
Yes. Okay. He passed out.
In the ditch.
The dude took a lot of speed and he passed out.
Yes.
All right. So when he came to, the rest of his unit was... Oh, I said that already.
It's
The rest
okay
of his
to...
unit was
We
gone.
can reiterate
They were
it.
like-
That's okay.
Yeah.
We gotta
The
understand
rest
it.
of his unit was gone. They had taken most of his supplies.
Rude.
Again, probably because they were like, dude's dead. Like,
Well, yeah.
I'm taking
Probably
his rations.
his heart was beating so fast that it didn't even feel like he had a pulse because
Yeah.
it was just like...
Probably.
Constant.
Well, and like, would you even check for a pulse if it's that cold? Because the moment you take your
No.
mittens off, you're getting frostbite.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't. I'd be like, sorry, dude.
And
But-
Shelby is not the medic in our team anymore.
No,
I mean,
Shelby's
he
more
looked
like,
dead.
he's dead, wait, let's go.
Yeah. Ugh.
So let's never get maroons on an island with me.
Apparently not.
I'll be the first who's like, cannibalism sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
No, I
don't
won't.
think I ever want to be stranded with you two idiots. No offense.
What did
We
I
wouldn't
do?
survive.
I don't know. I just feel like you would be in on it.
Nah, I probably would.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't like being in pain or hungry, so like...
Yeah, exactly. I would.
That's the thing, like, my
You two
personal
would give up
comfort comes
so
before
fast.
everything, so...
Oh,
You two-
God.
The plane wouldn't even be crashed. And we've had this discussion.
We
Shelby
have.
would give up on the plane.
Yeah, Shelby would give up on the plane. Ugh. God.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then I have to be Swiss Family Robinson all by myself. And that's no fun.
To be
Because then
fair,
that
I
turns
do
into
actually
Robinson
know how to
Crusoe.
do quite a few
She
things,
does.
like build stuff and survive. I
I
just
don't.
don't
I don't
like to
doubt
be
it,
inconvenienced.
but you would give up too quickly for it to be useful.
That's true.
True.
Yeah,
True.
that's true.
You're right.
Whereas
You're
me
right, I
over
would.
here, I have a bad back, bad lungs, and bad eyes, so I would not be helpful.
We'd be
Shannon
like,
would
Shannon,
just lie
please
down
just
in the
go
sand
sit
and
down and
die.
breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe. Take some deep breaths.
Oh, man. Okay, let's go back to the meth boy.
So they took most
And
of
that's
his
boy with an eye.
supplies.
That's what
All
everyone
he
knows.
had left was a little bit of water, his rifle, but no extra ammunition, and what he was wearing, essentially, and his skis. He had his skis. So he decided when he woke up, he was like, well, no point staying here, so he decided to move forward. And he was essentially being propelled by the drugs and his fear of the Soviets that were possibly still following him. At this point, I don't really know where they were. I don't know where his unit was. We don't know what's going on in this dude's brain. He's on speed. So,
Compelled by meth and the
He's-
fear of the Soviets.
yeah.
Sorry.
That's a great line.
Maybe that's how I should write my thesis.
I mean, I put propelled by meth and the fear of the Soviets. So, like,
Literally, I think that's my new life motto.
And basically, as he was I'm gonna say walking, but he was skiing. But as he was walking, he kept snapping like in and out of reality. So, as you do when you're on meth.
Yeah. There's that saying, it's like meth makes you crazy, heroin makes you lazy. He definitely was playing into the crazy part of the meth.
Right. Yeah. And like it's an early form of amphetamine, so it's not like pure crystal meth, and so like we don't even know how much that dosage was. We don't know exactly what the ingredients were, so like
who knows what that was?
Who knows what this dude is on. But yeah. So at one point he was like at the top of a hill and he saw a fire in the distance, and he just assumed that it was an Allied German camp.
Okay.
So he was like, oh, I'm gonna be saved. It's all good. So he starts skiing down this hill. He's going downhill on skis, so he's going super fast. He gets near the camp, realizes that they are not Germans, they are Russians.
Oh, no.
And so basically, he just, like, skis through the middle of their camp at top speed and keeps going.
I'm just thinking, you guys know that vine?
Bitches.
Do you guys know that vine with that guy who's like, I'm a giraffe? Like, just flying through.
It just says, I'm on meth.
Yeah, basically he, like, realized they were Russians, and he was like, oops, my mistake, and just, like, kept going, and the Russians were like, what just happened? Apparently
say
some
Red
of
Army,
them...
I'm on meth. That's exactly what it would be.
Yeah, apparently, like, one or two of them was like, maybe we should follow that guy, but by the time they got their skis, he was, like, so far that they were like,
the fact that he's on skis is just so much funnier to me.
Right, just like imagine sitting there in the dead of night, like freezing cold in the middle of nowhere, Russia.
Some methed out fan just flies by on skis.
Yep.
Oh man.
Like, to me, that's like the funniest part of this, because I'm just like, imagine being one of those Russian soldiers and you're like,
huh?
Okay, had too much vodka, let's go to bed.
Now to see that vine. God, I love that thing so much. I'm a giraffe.
No, but this time it's everybody stay Red Army. I'm on
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really stressed out. Everything's funny to me right now.
No, I mean, that is funny.
Oh, man.
I just imagine those Russians.
Oh, man. Okay.
But yeah, so that happened. And then for the next few stories, I only read them on one of my sources, and it was a source that was kind of written more as like a... more as like someone telling a story as opposed to like giving the facts of what happened. And I couldn't find these stories specifically on, I didn't look very hard, let's be real, but on any of the other sites that I used. So I kept them in here because they're interesting and kind of funny, but take them with a grain of salt. I could not verify them. I don't know how accurate they are. Also, the dude was on meth, so like...
Who knows?
It's his personal recounting of what may or may not have happened, so who really knows?
It's just part of the legend, you know?
Right. It was one of those things where I was like, I'm keeping it in because he might have said it. I don't know.
Yeah. We can treat him like a cryptid for this part and be like, this may have happened. We don't know.
Right. But yeah, so he basically...
Wait a minute. Wait, back up.
Yeah.
Shannon, you just had a whole fucking rant about don't change history, and now here we are.
I know.
Let's just make some shit up.
She's like, but if you think it's a cryptid.
Well,
but like, this is one of those that like isn't verifiable facts, and it's not consequential to anything other than this dude's life.
Yeah, if it's like a verifiable fact,
like
then... No, I'm not.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but like, my whole thing
But also, I'm telling you, it's probably not true.
Yeah. Like, if it's a verifiable fact and you're rejecting it, that's different than... And even with studying history, like, as long as you back it up with saying, like, this might not be true, I'm okay with presenting it. You just have to be honest about where your sources are coming from. That's all it is.
Okay.
Well, plus, like, with something like this, like, I mean, like Shelby said, it's inconsequential other than this guy's life. And, like, I don't know. This is just it's a different context than storming the Capitol.
I'm not talking about storming the Capitol. I'm talking about the Columbine thing.
That too, yeah. Okay.
It's
like,
literally the same thing.
I know. I get it. I'm just saying, as long as you say, like...
I'm not presenting this as cold, hard facts
Exactly.
that cannot be disputed, okay?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I just want everyone to go on the Discord server right now and look at the crack hole.
I saw it.
Thing. Thank you. Did you see that
Oh, I have
scent
that in
warmer
my,
that's a
like,
bent spoon?
patterns saved to make.
Yeah.
Basically, when Shannon and I move in together, I don't know why I just, like, stuttered on your name.
That's
but,
okay.
when we move in together, our house is going to be nothing but, like, snarky cross stitches.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. Yeah.
it's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I went to Audacity and then lost my notes. Where are my notes? There they are. Okay. Anyway, so these few stories are probably maybe not true, but we don't know. Anyway, so after he like stormed the Russian camp and just kept on going, just was essentially exploring the Russian countryside, I guess. The whole time he was hallucinating and just you know, having his little fun. Supposedly he fought off an imaginary Wolverine at one point, and
you know,
in the
how
what?
You do.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
how you do. And in the process of that, he like shattered his compass.
Okay.
So then he couldn't even like figure out where he was going. Not that he probably could anyway, because he's hallucinating, but you know. And then
I was telling about where I was looking up a map of wolves, and it just was all of Russia.
Yeah.
It was like, where are the wolves? Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, just thinking about Wolverines. Anyway, sorry.
Yes. And then at one point he may or may not have come. My cat just reached out underneath the chair. She's like laying on a blanket next to me. She just like reached out and just stuck her paw on my foot and then dug her claws in.
Great.
Ever so casually. She's just laying there with her claws in my foot. It's fine. Hi.
So kind
How
of her.
are you? Right. She's being a sweetheart. She was like, just wanted to let you know I'm here.
And that I can't kill you.
Right? Just letting you know. Okay, so he may or may not have come upon an abandoned cabin and stayed the night there. And when he did that, he set up a fire for himself, but he set it up in the middle of the floor of a wooden cabin.
Bro.
And then he fell asleep.
Oh, God.
So the cabin caught on fire.
Duh.
And as the flames spread, he just, in his half-awake, half-asleep state, just kept, like, inching himself away from the flames. And then, eventually, he woke up, noticed the entire cabin was on fire, and was like, alright, guess I'll go. And so he just left as the cabin burned down.
How did he even sleep with his heart rate at 300 beats per minute?
You know, that is, a good question.
Yeah.
That I do not know the answer to.
Yeah. Also, Hannah, I've been thinking about it. You were right. That was hypocritical of me to say. So.
Just trying to hold us to a higher standard.
Yes. You were right.
You know,
Yes.
you do you, I guess.
Shelby doesn't have that that standard. We're just gonna say that. I
Yeah.
do like to preface my information with
Well, yeah.
I did not do my due diligence and research, and I cannot verify these facts, but
Yeah.
I'm presenting them to you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he left this cabin as it's burning down around him. Supposedly, he spent the rest of the night following a light that he thought was a like a light shining through the window of a farmhouse.
Okay.
basically this dude is assuming a lot
Yeah,
in
he
his
is.
hallucinations. And then it turns out that the light that he was following was actually just the North Star.
Okay.
So
Wow, look at that cabin up above me.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
I mean, at least he was following something, like, consistent, maybe? But that's a really, that's way too high up to think that that's a house.
Right.
Like, unless you thought it was up on a
Right.
mountain or something.
I don't know. Dude's crazy.
Dude's
right
on
now.
meth. Who knows?
Dude can't. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't know reality at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. So that is the end of the stuff that I could not verify.
Okay.
The rest of these stories were, I mean, I guess I can't like wholeheartedly verify, but they were corroborated in multiple websites
Yeah.
and iterations of this story. Some of the specific details might be a little off, but
Yeah.
the overall story's there. Anyway, as I wrote it in my notes, we're back to the verifiable facts, or as verifiable as anything can be from a dude on a meth rampage. So, you know. So, he, again, was just trekking across the countryside. He eventually came across an abandoned German outpost, and as he approached it, he accidentally set off a landmine because
Oh,
the
God.
Germans had placed mines all around it as when they left it. So, so he set off a landmine which shattered his right foot.
That's it?
Great.
That's all that
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah. It basically destroyed his one ski, and then he had bones sticking out of his boot.
True. Just when I think
Gross.
landmine, I think torn to, actual pieces.
Yeah,
know?
yeah. You're thinking more of the
Mine, like a landmine.
yeah. These are just the simple to deter people
Yeah.
or whatever.
To deter people. Yeah, blow off your foot.
I mean,
and I
that
hope you
is a
don't come
deterrence.
forward. Yes.
It's a war. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you said that one of his skis was destroyed?
Yes.
So is this the story of how snowboarding was invented?
God, I wish.
Ah.
That would be funny. But no, so his foot got shattered, essentially, and he looked down at it and was like, huh, that's interesting. Kept trying to get into the, into the place, the outpost. He was trying to find the dugout to get in and found the door for it and was trying to get the door open, and he accidentally set off another mine.
Oh my God.
And this one threw him back away from the dugout. He landed in a pile of snow because it's winter in Russia, and he essentially ended up where the entire front of his clothes and shoes were torn to shreds, so he's half naked at this point.
God.
Yeah. And his foot is shattered. So at this point he was like, I'm tired. I'm just gonna crawl into this ditch over here and fall asleep.
Okay.
So that's what he did.
Okay.
And then he, I guess, decided that was real comfy because he stayed there for a few days, just laying in a ditch.
Okay.
Yup.
So,
Okay.
how long does meth last? How long does that stay in your system? How is he still, high, I guess would be the correct phrasing.
How many meths?
I know he took
I don't know, does the temperature slow it down? But your heart rate is so high that, you would think it's going through your system, but he also wasn't eating or drinking anything
True.
this entire time. The only thing he had eaten up to this point was some pine needles.
True. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know if it, flushes out of your system if you don't eat or drink anything. I don't know how it
True.
works.
Yeah.
And again, it
Here
wasn't
we go.
meth as we know it today,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I just Googled it. The effects of meth can last anywhere from 8 to 24 hours, depending on a bunch of different factors. So, he took a shit ton and wasn't eating or drinking, like you said. So this is I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really don't know. And maybe at this point, like, the meth is out of his system, but he's already, like, so dehydrated that he's hallucinating
Yeah.
and delirious and all of that.
and he
that,
may be having, like, some
and, like,
kind of...
adrenaline.
Yeah, he may be having some kind of, like, after effect or something. I don't know how common that is
Yeah.
with meth specifically, but some drugs you can have some kind of, like, an after effect. So,
Yeah.
maybe?
So there's no telling, really, because
Yeah.
obviously no one was there. We couldn't test his bloodstream. We don't
Yeah.
really know.
Yeah.
So, but by, like, as he's laying in this ditch, he was, again, in and out of reality, in and out of consciousness. So,
Yeah.
How many Wolverines did he fight while he was in the ditch?
What?
I said, how many Wolverines did he fight while he was in the ditch?
Yeah.
None that I know of.
He also,
but he
like-
did manage to catch a bird. It was a Siberian jay at one point, and he ate it raw. That was the
Cool.
only thing he ate besides pine needles was
Jesus
one
Christ,
Siberian
yeah.
jay while he was
One
chilling in a ditch.
whole bird.
On top of the ditch and the meth, he also got his foot blown off, so he probably has a lot of...
Like shock,
Yeah. Probably... How did he not bleed out? I just have so many questions.
right?
Because his blood is like cement because it's just
His
meth.
blood is just meth.
It's just frozen meth.
That's true. All right. Oh, man.
So basically, he caught this bird. He ate it raw, which I mean, like, if I had
I don't
gone
blame him. You need food.
that long
Like,
without
it's fine.
food,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's
That's
cool,
the
whatever.
least questionable thing he's done so
Right,
far.
exactly. Out of everything that's happened, I'm like, that one I get.
Yeah.
That one's okay. And then he hung out in his ditch for a couple more days until some Finnish soldiers came along and they found him and they rescued him.
Okay, good.
Does not say, apparently, again, in the one website where it was like, I can't verify some of the facts,
Mhm.
that author had said that at one point when he was in the ditch, like, some Finnish soldiers came and found him and said that they would, like, go on and then send a crew to rescue him or something.
Mhm.
But he wasn't sure if that was real or if he had hallucinated it. Again, I left that one out because that one I could not verify, like, in any way.
Yeah.
And that one, yes, you could write it off as a hallucination, but also, I don't know. I was like, eventually they did come and find him. So, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't one of those that I felt I really needed to include. And then I talked about it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
that happens.
whatever.
And here we are.
Yep. All right. So these Finnish soldiers, they found him, they rescued him, they brought him to one of their field hospitals, and at the hospital, they measured his heart rate at 200 beats per minute. And he weighed right around 90 pounds, or 43
Jesus.
kilograms.
He just ate himself.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, essentially.
Also, I
Um,
Googled it because I didn't know off the top of my head. A normal, like, resting heart rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and a
I
well-trained...
was going to say my resting heart rate stays right around 69.
Yeah, and then
70.
a well-trained athlete, this is from the Mayo Clinic, according to Google, a well-trained athlete might have a resting heart rate closer to 40 beats per minute. So,
Yeah.
for somebody...
Usually, like, marathon runners will have a lower resting
Yeah.
heart rate.
Yeah. So,
And like when I have a panic attack, my heart rate jumps to about 120.
yeah. So,
So 200 is very high.
yeah.
Like very high.
Yeah. Oh my... and on
Um,
top of that, he's only like 90 pounds.
yeah. So it was 43 kilograms, which was, I believe it said 94 pounds. I
Okay.
just put around 90 pounds
That's
in my
fine.
notes.
Yeah.
But,
Either way.
yeah. So essentially his little meth field escapade lasted for 2 weeks.
Oh my god.
And it's calculated that in that time he covered about 250 miles or 400 kilometers.
Oh, I mean, he was on skis.
Wait, can you repeat that?
His meth field escapade lasted about 2 weeks. And it's calculated that he covered about 250 miles or 400 kilometers.
That's so long.
I just keep thinking about those Russians.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what
Can you
might be
imagine if there
considered...
was a historical picture that was like that vine, except it's like all these Russian soldiers?
But imagine that dude with his crazy eyes. Like, if you look up a picture of this dude.
Hi, attention everybody. If you're good at art, can you please draw that like a bunch of Red Army soldiers like kneeling down to take a war picture and then this fucker going through
I'm
with
on
his
that.
skis?
And there's a good chance he had already lost a good chunk of weight, so it's a skeleton on skis.
So a skeleton on skis.
With crazy eyes.
Maybe there's blood coming out of his mouth. Who knows?
Just sliding through your camp.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. Yep.
So if
And
you
then-
do art, hit me up.
Very end here, let me just finish
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
What some people say is the most surprising thing of all is that he survived all of this and then went on to live a long and healthy life. Like, he was 27 when all of this happened, and he lived to be 71 years old. He died in August of
Oh my
1989.
god.
So, like, just imagine this, like, 27-year-old. Like, that's my age.
Yeah.
This dude's in the middle of war and just goes on a meth-fueled rampage across Russia.
I mean, but what do Europeans do on their, like, Rumspringa anyway?
You know? You're right. You're right.
Do they have such things? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Oh. He did all of that for his country, and they still lost.
I don't know if he did that for his country.
Right?
I think he did that. I don't know. He did not have a purpose. He just did this to do this. Because he got mad that he couldn't get one pill out, so he took all of them.
Dude clearly never went through a high school health class.
His critical thinking
He
skills...
never went through the DARE.
Yeah.
The DARE program.
His thinking skills were already apparently not the greatest before this happened.
Right.
Well, I can't get one out. I'll take all of the meth.
Right. That sounds right. Sounds good.
Oh, God. Ugh. This is hysterical. Ugh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a good counter to ranting about how our country's gonna die.
I just like to pick random topics.
They're fun. I like your fun random topics.
that are fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do serious things, but not often.
Nah. One of us has to not do serious things. It's not gonna be me.
Shelby copes with her anxiety through humor. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
that's all I got for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Shelby. That was very entertaining.
You're welcome. I'll be here all week. I don't know what that means on our podcast, but
Yeah.
you know.
Who knows?
I sent you a picture, but he looks like praying mantis. I tried my best.
Ugh. I mean,
Maybe if I get
he does
some
look like a praying
inspiration, I'll
mantis.
draw it out for us.
Thank you.
He does look like a praying mantis.
I just realized that. Those are his ski poles.
So
But
I
it's
love
mostly
it.
because his eyes are
So,
literally not in his head.
I'm saving
So-
that. It's gonna be the teaser photo.
That's also, we're gonna make that into an enamel pin, and that's
Yes.
gonna be our first piece of merch.
I have a graphic
along-
narrative that's published and it uses my art because I'm an artist.
We're gonna use this and then Morgan's drawings,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be our
Beautiful. I'll
our
tell
merch.
her that she's commissioned for another set
I will
that
give
sense for us.
her. I have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
I will give her love and adoration.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all she gets.
Oh,
I knit her a Gryffindor scarf.
there you go.
Nice.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Do we have anything?
bye, friends.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't have anything.
Okay. This was going to be my announcement before we ranted about the country dying, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to split this up into 2 episodes because this was just a lot to put into one.
Yeah.
We crossed 1,000 downloads.
Woo!
last
We're
week.
so popular.
Yeah, which, like, I started re-listening to.
We're famous now.
And That's Why We Drink, and they hit 1 million by, like, episode 20, which made me feel inadequate. But then I was like, we're not, like, we're doing this for fun, and, like,
We
I don't
don't
know.
live in California.
That too.
Everyone who's famous comes from California.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Also, we don't really promote this in any
Yeah,
way.
that's the other
so-
thing. We don't promote this in any way, shape, or form because we're all terrible at it, but...
Well, we might have a bunch of socialists who join us.
Yeah. That'd be
soon.
fun. Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
But
Maggie,
yeah, so thank you
come on.
to everybody who does listen. We appreciate you.
Yes.
We don't say it a lot
You're
because
great.
we forget, but we appreciate you guys.
We do.
The 3 people I know who listen, I just text them and I'm like, you love me.
Yeah, no one I know listens, so I can't do that.
I know 3.
yeah.
And one of them is my sister.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but yeah, so just thank you to people who do listen. Yeah, we appreciate you.
We do. You're great. You're
Yeah,
awesome.
and like I said, like, we're doing this for fun. Like, I know I treat it as a job, but that's because, like, I don't know how else to function. So, like, that's just,
Yep.
like,
Shannon's very
what I do.
goal-oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, plus, I am a type A person to the core, and if I'm putting something out into the world, if it isn't as close to perfect as I can get it, I see that as a failure. So, it's
Fair.
fine, but
Fair.
that's just how I do things.
I had notes this week.
You did.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I know we're at the end of this, but
That's fine.
when I'm assuming it was Alexis who DM'd us, but
Probably.
if
It
was, then
usually
that's fine.
is, so I'm assuming so.
But one of them from Wine and Weirdos like DM'd us on Instagram and was like, "Hey, can I get your notes from that one episode?" And it was my episode, the one on the like Olympic marathon, and literally I like looked at my notes for it and I was like, "These are so bad. I'm so sorry." I think I like wrote a note when I shared it with them. I was like, "I'm sorry that these suck, and like if you need the information, I can promise you I can put it out in a more coherent fashion." But, like, I don't know.
That's okay. They know.
But also I didn't feel like editing it because I was like, this is who I am. You just have to accept it. So, you know,
Oh, man.
I write stupid things in my notes like, nah, bro, we're not giving you our land. So Russia invaded.
I mean, you're not wrong in that statement. Like,
Look, it's... For someone who has like all the linguistic training and like speech pathology training and all of that, like I'm very lax about my language.
that's
use.
okay. It's more fun that way.
It is.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
My cat's trying to rip down my door, so
Okay.
Yeah,
like that
I
means
think
wrap
we're
it up.
done. Because once
I gotta
again,
go eat dinner.
we don't have an ending because we still haven't done that. So,
This is our ending now.
Yeah.
We don't have an ending.
yeah. I don't know. I'm fine with just saying we don't have an ending still. Bye. That seems more on brand with how we are as
Yeah.
people.
Maybe when we hit like our 100th episode, we'll have an
I
ending.
doubt it, but
It'll be
Right.
a surprise ending, and it's just
We can
us
hope.
quitting.
yeah.
We're just gonna be like, sorry, bye.
Yeah.
The end.
Shelby took 6 ibuprofen. You gotta go to the
Shelby took 6
hospital.
ibuprofen, Hannah's on meth, and Shannon downed a bunch of Valium. So,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Triad. Our music is by Scott Buckley. Our audio is recorded by our sound engineers, Craig Bott and Audrey Credo.
If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr as The Triad Podcast. Our website is thetriadpodcast.wordpress.com. There, you can find information about our latest episode, including the show notes and sources.
We're also on Patreon as The Triad. Currently, all Patreon funds will go towards the cost of hosting the show. Each tier has its own rewards, but every patron receives our undying gratitude. Do you have comments, questions, or stories? Email us at thetriadpod@gmail.com. And thank you again for listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive.